The deep sea is evolution's nightmare laboratory, and its masterpiece of pure horror is this, the black dragonfish. This isn't just a fish. It's a living black hole, a creature that wears a cloak woven from the void itself, swallowing over 99.5% of all light that touches it. But in this realm of absolute zero light, it hunts with a weapon that shouldn't exist, a biological sniper scope that shoots a beam of invisible red light. How does an animal become both the darkness and the torch? How did evolution build a monster that wields weapons that defy the very physics of its own environment? Stick around. We're about to dissect this abyss-dwelling monstrosity, and the answers are darker than you can possibly imagine. So, how do you become the apex predator in a world of absolute, crushing blackness? Simple. You don't just hide in the dark, you become a patch of it that got angrier. You evolve into a literal light-swallowing hole in the fabric of reality. This isn't an exaggeration, it's a scientific fact. When researchers tried to photograph this thing, the light from their strobes just vanished into its skin. They discovered the dragonfish is coated in one of the blackest substances ever measured, reflecting less than 0.5% of light. For context, that puts it on par with human-engineered materials like The secret lies in its skin's pigment cells, or melanossomes. Instead of being tiny spheres like in most animals, they are shaped and packed together in a unique way that creates a perfect light trap. Any photon that hits the fish is bounced around internally until it's completely absorbed. Now, let's process the horrifying implications. This isn't camouflage. Camouflage is for amateurs trying to look like they're surroundings. The dragonfish's strategy is to create a localized absence of information. It has weaponized physics. It's like a stealth bomber that doesn't just deflect radar, but actively inhales the radio waves, erasing itself from the screen. Imagine a serial killer who doesn't hide in the shadows. He just cuts a person-shaped hole out of the shadow, wears it like a coat, and walks right at you. You wouldn't see a monster. You would see a piece of the universe that's gone missing, and it's coming to get you. But this creates a terrifying paradox. Being a perfect void is a great defensive trick, but how do you hunt? How does this creature pierce the very darkness it has so perfectly become? So, the dragonfish is an invisible void. How does it see? It doesn't just see, it cheats. Evolution gave it a piece of military-grade hardware that shouldn't exist in nature. A biological sniper scope that illuminates its prey with a beam of light that is, to every other creature, completely invisible. Like many deep-sea freaks, the dragonfish has photophores all over its body that glow with a standard-issue blue-green light. That's for luring in the curious. The real weapon is a special photophore tucked right under its eye. This organ produces far-red light. Now, here's the genius stroke of evolutionary cruelty. The deep sea is a world of blue. Blue light penetrates water deepest, so virtually every creature down there has evolved eyes hypersensitive to blue and completely blind to red. They lack the biological hardware to even register its existence. This is a tactical advantage of terrifying proportions. The dragonfish sweeps the abyss with its private, red searchlight, and its prey is just floating there, blissfully unaware, bathed in a spotlight it cannot perceive. This is the single most perfect hunting system in the abyss. It's like a submarine running an active sonar that no other vessel can detect. The dragonfish doesn't just hope it bumps into food. It goes out. It paints a target lock on its victim, and that victim has no idea it's even being hunted until the jaws snap shut. It's an ambush predator that brings its own invisible stage lighting. So let's recap. We have a creature made of literal darkness, armed with an invisible death ray it uses to target its victims. The setup is perfect, but a perfect ambush is nothing without a perfect weapon to deliver the final blow. And when you see what evolution bolted onto the front of this fish's face, you'll realize overkill isn't a strong enough word. You'd think the ultimate weapons are the void black skin and the secret headlight. You'd be wrong. Evolution's true masterpiece of horror is something far more intimate. A set of fangs, so ridiculously oversized, it can't even close its own mouth. attached to a jaw that dislocates on command. Oh, and the teeth are effectively invisible. First, the engineering insanity. The dragonfish's skull is hinged to its own spine, allowing it to tilt its head straight back, while its jaw unhinges to over 100 degrees, like a deep-sea python. This lets it swallow prey substantially larger than its own head. But the teeth are where it gets truly diabolical. They aren't made of normal, opaque enamel. Instead, they have a unique nanocrystal structure that doesn't scatter or reflect light. They are transparent daggers. They don't glint. They don't shine. In the inky black, they simply don't exist visually. Let's unpack the sheer maliciousness of this design. The creature's predatory drive is so profound, its own skeleton had to learn to break apart and get out of the way. It's like mounting a battleship cannon on a go-kart. The chassis screams in agony, but who cares about structural integrity when you have that much firepower? And the transparent teeth, that is pure psychological warfare. The last thing a victim sees isn't the glint of approaching death. It sees nothing, just an invisible cage of glass needles closing in, propelled by a skeletal nightmare. An invisible monster, a secret spotlight, and a transparent cage of death. It sounds perfect, unbeatable. But evolution is a twisted accountant, and every incredible asset has a bizarre cost somewhere on the balance sheet. To create this perfect female killing machine, a terrible price was paid. By the males, we've spent this entire time focused on the female, the apex predator. So, what about her mate? To put it bluntly, he's a joke. Imagine being born for one single task, after which you are programmed to die. Now, imagine you are born without a stomach, at all. That is the hilariously grim and pathetic life of the male black dragonfish. This is a case of sexual dimorphism taken to its most extreme and logical endpoint. While the female is a 40-centimeter fang-covered horror, the male is a tiny, 5-centimeter weakling. He has no teeth, he has no glowing chin lure, and, most critically, he has no functioning digestive system. From the moment he is born, he is starving to death. His entire, brief existence is fueled by the leftover yolk from his egg. His only developed features are his oversized reproductive organs and eyes just big enough to spot a female's glow. Let's not romanticize this. This isn't a partnership. It's a resource allocation strategy. The male is a biological flash drive. He is a single-use self-guided torpedo of genetic information whose only mission is to upload his data before his battery dies. Evolution was so laser-focused on perfecting the female killing machine that it looked at the male and stripped him down to the absolute bare minimum required for procreation. No food, no weapons, no future. Just a mission. It is the most brutal and efficient form of biological minimalism imaginable. So there you have it. The full, nightmarish blueprint. A creature that wears a cloak of pure void, hunts with an invisible sniper rifle, kills with a cage of transparent needles, and ensures its future with a disposable, pre-programmed mate. What does this all add up to? So, the black dragonfish. The mystery wasn't just one adaptation. It's a cascade of horrifying solutions to the problem of survival in the abyss. Evolution, in its infinite and terrifying creativity, didn't just give this creature a weapon. It gave it an entire assassination system. It started with a cloak of literal darkness, making it a living black hole. It then bolted on a military-grade targeting scope, using a wavelength of light its victims couldn't see. For the kill, it engineered a jaw that breaks the laws of its own skeleton, armed with a cage of completely transparent teeth, and to power the next generation. It ruthlessly optimized its entire species into the perfect female killer and a disposable, single-use male. The black dragonfish isn't just an animal. It's a thesis statement on brutal efficiency. It is the chilling, logical endpoint of what happens when natural selection is the only artist. Working on a black canvas with no rules, no light, and absolutely no mercy. It is the perfect predator for a world that is already a nightmare. What other evolutionary nightmares do you think are lurking in the deep? Let me know your top contender for creepiest creature in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into weaponized biology, obliterate the like button and subscribe for more treks into the weirdest corners of the animal kingdom. Thanks for watching.